All right. Good afternoon, viewers of the GG WoW YouTube page. Today we're coming to you to determine what the world's greatest keybinds for all players, no matter what, ever, for healers, tanks, or DPS, always are. And we have some of the world's greatest minds and Growl here to be able to determine what, in fact, are the greatest keybinds. With great things such as left bracket being for Door of Shadows. Probably not going to be on there for all of you users. And we have allowed, I think, 3 mouse buttons. So we're not allowed to use all 12 of our mouse buttons for our MMO mouse. Only 3 additional mouse buttons are available. I don't think anybody here only uses 3 mouse buttons.
It's because we haven't decided on a mouse sponsor yet, so we only have 3 mouse buttons.
I see.
Does left click and right click count as mouse buttons?
I'm gonna go with no. Those count as like normal like movement abilities. Those are standard.
Okay, just making sure we're specific.
So, speaking of movement, I guess our first binds that we're going to determine which go on the golden keyboard here are for movement and strafing, which is forward, back, turning, strafe left, and strafe right. Onesie, would you like to start? Where are your movement keys, and please defend them?
Oh man, I really wish you started with James on this one. I think he has a great answer, but I like to keep it simple. When you first enter the game, your strafe is on Q and E, but I think those are good keybinds to like actually use for like utility or abilities or whatever. So instead of making my character be able to turn clockwise with A and D, I just turn those into my strafe buttons, and I use W and S to go back and forth, and then A and D to strafe left and right. And James, would you be able to comment on what your movement abilities are?
Dude, those gotta be the worst movement keybinds I've ever heard in my life.
Please, let me
I
hear
strafe left with Z, and I strafe right with X, and that's it. I use my mouse.
Left with Z, strafes left with Z, and
move.
right with X.
Okay,
how do you move forward?
With my mouse.
You mouse. Yeah,
and how do you move backwards?
You strafe jump.
You just get good.
Strafe jump.
You don't.
Yeah, you like strafe jump.
You never backpedal. Come on.
Yeah.
Dude, being a backpedaler is like one of the worst things in WoW, aside from being a clicker.
Okay, so is the committee firm on the backpedaling is a absolute no?
Disagree.
No, I'm hard.
No,
There are very specific.
I thought backpedal was decent for tanks. Am I wrong?
Yeah,
It
it depends
It's
on the situation.
definitely
It's
needed.
situational for
Yeah,
sure.
but imagine playing a tank.
True. Okay, good rebuttal.
Yeah, I'm old, so sometimes I need to be precise with my movement. So I backpedal if I need to slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just googled backpedaling on WoW, and it's like one of the most derogatory things. It's like it's for noobs. It's bad for all contents.
Holy.
It's inefficient.
Those are just people trying to gatekeep people from backpedaling because they're mad
What
that
happens
they
if you
are
need to
using
move
S.
backwards?
Turn your camera and strafe.
You
It's
strafe.
like
Like
gamer.
on Paintsmith, if you're hitting the balls, backpedal is like the perfect speed. to hit
True.
the balls in the-
Yeah.
The balls
That's
are
what I
literally
do.
made for backpedaling.
Yeah, that's a good rebuttal.
That's actually what they're made for.
James just
So
strafes.
that means
That's all he
you're
does.
a balls connoisseur. You
Yeah,
backpedal.
it does get my heart rate up having to do Paintsmith without backpedal bound,
okay.
but at least it keeps it interesting.
Would you say your keybinds give you more adrenaline?
Oh yeah. Yep. All gas, no
Okay.
brakes.
So the goal of your keybinds is to make things interesting by making it more difficult.
Well, it opens up a lot of other avenues for customization because you free up that, all the movement keys in the middle.
Yeah,
And
so
that's why you play with JPC in the first place anyway, right?
Yeah, so JPC for your movement, like for W, A, S, and D, those are all like ability binds.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
I don't hate that. That's a lot of ability buttons.
Also, Z and X was not my idea. I first got these keybinds from Recful when I was like 9 years old or something.
Really?
So,
Those are rectal
yeah.
buttons? I didn't know
Mhm.
I can't believe he pulled out
Rick was one.
Okay, so
Almost
Recful has
all
been
my-
called.
Almost all of my keybinds are copied from Recful's keybinds, except for the abilities that have come out over the years.
That's kind of pog, actually.
It makes
respect
sense because it's kind of what you would feel like a PvPer's point of view would be, is that backpedaling is bad because it obviously is bad in PvP.
So it seems like the committee decided that we wanted a backpedal bind, even against JPC's call.
I am down for a backpedal.
Unless
Okay.
you're a PvPer.
Unless you're a PvPer, then go watch the CD video,
That's
I guess, or
acceptable,
something.
yeah.
Why can't PvPers just not press the bind? Like, why can't PvPers?
Because they use it for
Well,
something
it's an extra
else.
bind.
I mean,
it's
that's
a good bind.
that's really good real estate, by the way. Like the S keybind is like prime
All right,
real
all
estate
right.
for your hand.
All right, so my backpedal is a mouse button. So I use QWE for left, forward, and right, and then my back pedal is a mouse button. What do you think about that?
Wait, what do you
I
not
mean,
have
everything's
a
a
I-
mouse button for you.
I
Isn't it
can't
a
see the
little
same
mouse?
anymore. Like every time I see a character move, I'm just
Wait,
gonna
is that your
think
third
about
or
the mouse.
second mouse button? Because if it's your third, then you don't have a back button or you don't have a back pedal. Because we're not allowed to count our third buttons, right, Tuddles? Or we're only allowed to have 3. Is that
We're
what
only
you
allowed to have 3 binds. Do we really want to
Okay,
use
okay.
one on a back pedal? I actually don't
Yeah,
hate
yeah.
this.
said? Back
It's
pedal on
acceptable, I
mouse.
guess.
It could make sense since you're only using your mouse for movement anyway, kind of.
I'm actually pretty sure that that's just if you're gonna you have keybinds on your keyboard for moving like forward and sideways, then it makes no intuitive sense to put another movement which is backwards on your other hand.
Okay.
would
Yeah, that
actually
makes
just be
my
worse.
brain would explode.
You should.
I think
yeah,
it
all
would
the
explode.
movements
It would
should be
explode
on
for like
hand.
an hour, but you'd get the hang of it.
I mean, it's you would still like with the way that the human brain works, like you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't
So-
assign both sides of your brain to trying to
It's the left
force
side and the
other
right
into
side.
movement.
Each the left side controlling your left hand, and the right side controlling your right hand, right?
It's like playing piano.
So what do we think
Yeah,
about WASD? I guess this maybe should have come up in the beginning. But what
I
do
mean,
we
when you're
think about
driving a car, you're
WASD?
using both your hands for movement, no? I
I'm
mean,
kind
I
of
don't,
unique
but-
with it. When I started WoW, it was Q and E on stock.
Okay.
So I still
Yeah, what
have
about
Q and E
Q&E
down
and-
as if Q and E is strafe
how-
still, but I'm the only person I think ever that has that.
No,
I
no,
used-
no,
I actually used to
know,
play
I know
like
I
that.
never played like that too.
I
But I,
Q&E.
I unbound A and D, so those are actual buttons. It's just like reverse.
Listen, if you've
Oh, those
never
are actual
played,
ones. That's different.
if you've never played video games before, you can choose whatever you want for movement. But if you have like all your life, I'm pretty sure almost every single game uses WASD as movement. So like
Yeah.
changing those to play WoW just seems very like wrong because you're just gonna have to rebuild muscle memory for no reason.
And the counterpoint of
totally on that.
ESDF gives you access for more binds.
ESDF?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean shifting your movement one key over?
Yeah.
That would feel even worse.
That's
I
just
feel
so
like.
weird.
is
That's
so
so
wrong.
Yeah,
so
that would be
wrong.
worse.
I
It's
don't
more
think
wrong
that
than
would
C
be
and
feel
X.
really weird.
You'd have to be some sort of weird moonkin to do something like that.
All right, we'll go with
Yeah, some
WASD.
degenerate moon.
Let's get out of here. All right. Your builder / primary ability, the repeatable, spammable single target generator / heal. Demon's Bite, Flash Heal, and Wrath have been called. Nerf, please
Did you just say
begin.
flash heal?
That's a filler.
Spammable ability, 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
One for Wrath, 2 for Lunar,
Wrath.
or Starfire.
I think that's completely false.
Those are 1 through 3
So-
abilities for
My
sure.
Starfire's
I
all
don't follow
serious.
that.
That's a different story.
So there's a bit of a problem with this, which is that not everyone's spammable ability is an ability that they want to be pressing often. For example, like Holy
Okay,
Pally.
Paladin.
Well, I'm just saying, like, that's one example, but there are other examples too. Like, we never, like, as Holy Pally, you never press Holy Light or Flashlight, but those are like your spammable heals,
All right,
you know?
what's your Crusader
So-
Strike bound to?
Wait, what's your judgment?
My judgment? Well, that's
DNF.
got an 8. Well, my judgment's on E, but
Okay, it's not bad.
that's not a spammable. It's got an 8-second cooldown.
about
Ellesmere has
Crusader
Crusader.
Strike?
He's got Crusader Aura bound to 1.
Basically, what Ellesmere's trying to say is that healers are
That's
so
all-
difficult and big brain that there's no such thing as a spammable button. Every single button takes infinite amounts of thought.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said, word for word,
You have to use
verbatim.
both sides of your brain. to
Oh,
play
what's
healer.
on your 1 and 2, Ellie?
Like,
Like,
healer
spill
is
the
so
beans.
dumb.
My 1 and 2, are my Word of Glory and Light of Dawn, my spenders.
So on
And
your
then-
on your priest, what's your smite?
my
doesn't play
smite
priest.
is on 4.
That's where my Frostbolt is.
Eh?
My smite and my Crusader Strike are on 4. Like that 4 is generally where my commonly used still necessarily doesn't like cooldowns don't really have anything to do with it. I place my buttons not based on their spammability, but based on how often I use them.
Ergonomic approach.
I just placed
Yeah,
my buttons on
four-
how similar they are.
4
in
is
my
the
opinion.
easiest button to reach with your index finger, which is like
While moving. I feel like 4 is
Yeah,
easy to
while
hit while moving.
Yeah,
So
so,
I agree with Ellesmere.
one. I think they're all pretty awkward. Like one, how do you spam 1 while like having to move left, for example? How do you guys do that?
I think
I
F,
use
F
jumping.
and G are actually the 2 easiest keys, but I don't know
Yeah,
the
I think it should be like E or F or like anything around the W.
I actually
Okay.
think I think hidden 2 is easier than hidden 1. I'll take.
Yeah, but like you would have to like
Yo,
you would
I
have to like
actually
hit it
have
with like either your middle finger, right, or like your ring finger.
So there's a difference between caster and melee too for me. So like that issue, Dorky, that you're talking about only happens when you're a melee or
A
it's an
melee,
instant
yeah.
cast filler.
Yeah.
And so when I play those type of classes, my filler is actually on my mouse button, so that way I can move freely while using my filler. with
Yeah,
the
but
Oh, you're
mouse.
really
limited
using
to
both
3
sides of your
mouse
brain there,
buttons at the
Chow.
moment.
Well, one of them is a rotational damage, and the other one is controlling movement. So it's different. Even on my mage, like my Scorch is on mouse button, because if you have to move, you can just spam the other, like on your other hand, and not jumble your fingers while you're trying to also do damage.
So what is your highest number that you go up to before you start swapping to different keybinds?
5.
5.
6.
5.
Yeah,
Mine
that
is
just
6.
depends.
Six,
Well,
six
depends on how
can't
big
be
your
a
hands
useful
are,
keybind,
right?
6 is
right?
awkward.
There's no
That
way.
must be like a bind.
That,
Six
that
is
can't be a
six is
useful
my mouth.
keybinding.
My 6
Right.
is always like my common but long cooldown ability.
Yeah, mine's like Immo or
Mine's gateway.
Wait, what's your 6, Ellie?
Well, on Holy Pally, it's Consecrate. On
Okay.
my Shaman, it's Healing Rain. So things that I only press like once every 10 or 15 seconds.
dude. It's literally
But
Heart
your
of the Wild on my
Consecrate
boom.
is on 6.
That is
Heart of Wild on
insane.
6 would
Dude, that's
actually
what
be
I'm
pretty
saying.
good.
Now healer
Yeah,
battle.
that healer shit. I
Alright,
got that
alright.
healers.
Wait, what's your Consecrate?
That can't be a good bind.
I think it's bound. It's bound. I think it's what?
I thought
Control
Consecrate was
F?
supposed to
This is
be-
wait. This is why Ellesmere does so much more damage.
What? Control F?
what's
Get out of
that,
here! Flaming me for my 6
what it
when you
is.
have
That's
Control
what it
F
is.
bound.
My God.
Bro, I'm gonna need you to switch your Consecrate bind immediately, post haste.
Wait, you don't have
That could
This
be a
explains
thing,
so
though.
much.
Like,
you don't
dude,
have a
I
bind
swear-
on Control F, Ellie?
I don't have what?
You don't have a single bind on Control F?
No, I do, but not something that I press
Okay.
once every 10 or 15 seconds.
You have it on 6.
Well, who cares? 6 is
Honestly,
easy.
I like
Pressing
Control F more than
Control F
6,
with your
maybe. I don't
pinky?
know.
Like,
Yeah,
we're
with
gonna
your
Control
pinky.
F with
I-
your pinky?
Index finger.
Yeah, I do pinky action on the control.
No, you don't
Okay,
press pinky with
let's
control.
rein this back in.
No,
Let's
no,
rein
no,
this
no,
back
no.
in.
We need to explain. We need to explain proper
Control
ergonomics.
Control is
You
a
don't
garbage
press
keybind.
control with your pinky. You press control with your knuckle on your pinky.
Agreed.
Okay, that's still your pinky, man.
Wait,
Wait,
I know
what?
Wait.
Isn't that a more range of motion, or is like are you already in the knuckle
No.
position?
That is not
Dude,
ergonomic.
Yeah.
That is
Wait, wait,
not
wait, wait,
ergonomic.
Hold on.
So you're just
Like,
pressing
using
the
your
full
keyboard
knuckle.
every time you push Consecrate?
No. When I
He means
press
like the-
control, I don't think he means knuckle.
Like,
Do you
not
actually mean
knuckle.
knuckle?
What, no. What's it
He
called? Like your
punches-
joint or whatever?
He means like the middle
thing
of his.
below your pinky.
Oh, okay. I
right?
see. I see.
He doesn't
I see.
use like the pinky finger itself.
Yeah.
So your
was like,
pinky's
no
like
way you mean
extended,
knuckle.
like almost to your shift caps lock, and you're just pressing down. Like, okay, I see now.
Yeah.
What?
Like,
Does no one else do that?
I was thinking
do.
No, I
claw.
understand.
Wait,
it, I
no,
understand.
okay, that's
no, I
that's
just pressed it
really-
down direct.
That's really weird for me because I have my keyboard tilted like a FPS player, where it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where the escape button is higher than like the other side of the keyboard. I don't know if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So like pressing on control with the butt of your pinky is like weird as fuck because my hand is the other direction. Like I don't really know how to explain this without showing it, but my actual tip of my pinky is on control. instead
Yeah,
of
that's
the
how
butt of my
mine is
pinky.
too.
So
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's weird
short
to me.
fingers.
Like my pinky
No, my
doesn't
keyboard is
extend past
tilted.
the shift.
No,
My
yeah, I
keyboard
know
is
what I mean.
tilted. So like that's where my pinky naturally rests because that was like crouch and Counter Strike or whatever. So
Okay, so anyways, for builders, it seems like we landed on ER and F as like the best. Even after an initial
What the
detour of
hell?
1, 2, and
Wait,
3.
what?
Yeah, yeah,
Wait,
yeah,
Hold on,
yeah.
there was some. Okay.
What the hell?
Dude, no
Where
one
did
has
you
even
get
said
that
the letters
from?
E
That
or
is-
F
I
this
agree
time.
with Tetos. That is right.
That is-
If you're not using 1 through 3, I don't know.
Dorky's the only
Okay.
one that thinks that.
1 through 3.
Okay, I think
Dude.
ER and F are comfy. 1 and 2 are like default.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
you
they're
should
defaults,
separate
but they're
them
not
into
optimal.
I don't think you should separate them into builders. I think you should just go with your rotational
Just
buttons.
say
'cause, like,
spammable.
Yeah,
abilities.
exactly.
most of the classes right now are like what 3 to 4 rotational buttons. So what does everyone just use 1 through 4 for the rotational buttons or what?
I would assume so.
Yes.
Yeah, 1 through 4.
I
They're,
don't-
well, for
None
me,
of my
one
rotation
is always,
is on 1 through 4.
one is,
None of my
one is
rotation is on 1 through
mobility
4.
spell.
yeah, because your strafe is on Z.
Your
Okay.
rotational. What is your rotational on S? ASD.
Space
it-
bar.
'Cause you don't use
I got like
Windows
it's like a whole
key.
system. Like if you don't buy into the Z and X, then none of the other stuff's gonna make sense. So yeah.
So
I might not be
everything
the
rotates
best.
around the Z and X. That's how.
Like my main builder is on C. So if you picture on the keyboard, like my pinky rests on
What?
shift, my ring finger on Z, my middle finger on X, my pointer on C, and my thumb on spacebar. It's like
Yeah,
a
that
little
makes
like
sense.
a little
Your
bear
ring
paw
is
kind of.
pretty
That
good.
makes sense. That makes sense because then your index
it's
finger's
good
on
to
C,
see.
right? And
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
spamming your index finger on C. I mean, yeah, I mean that makes sense for sure.
Yeah.
But it just like you're right. It doesn't go with.
That'd be really
the
awkward for
AIC.
me because my push to talk is caps lock, so that'd be really bad.
Same, actually.
Wait, my push to talk is tilde.
Didn't
Holy.
imagine using push to talk.
How
Okay.
do you? Oh, hold on, Alismir. How do you?
You guys need a foot
consecrate,
pedal.
but you don't
You guys
use
need foot
tilde?
pedals.
Wait, what?
Tilde
Wait, you
is
don't
such
use
a better
tilde?
keybind than 6.
Well, yeah, but
What?
that's what's my push to talk because I use it all the time. That's my most commonly pressed
My
keybind.
God, push to
My
talk.
team
yours.
just tells me to shut up when I play. My keybind for push to talk is like some hard button.
It's like numpad.
Growl, just please put your consecrate on a single button. No,
I like
no
how
modifiers.
Growl says that, but we literally went through an entire day of doing keys with Growl where he just didn't talk at all, and like we were. Do you remember that, Growl? We were just doing keys, and you thought we were ignoring you, but you were just muted the entire time.
Yeah, that's happened, I think, a couple times.
Okay. So
I mean,
we're
my
gonna put.
team, I don't know. Like,
That was
no
actually
one listened.
yesterday, Growl, or the other day.
See, it was literally yesterday. My team doesn't.
We
listen.
did two
Yeah.
keys, and then Growl didn't say a word. And we thought Growl was just vibing, and then he's like, "Wait, was I muted the whole time?" He's muted for like 2 hours almost. It seemed like.
But
Holy
healer,
fuck.
no one listens to me. I don't even notice whether or not.
Growl, that's because when we were talking about things, you just turn the music up.
True.
Because you don't care what
Did
I
it
have
quite-
to say.
All right, what you have to say is usually like, all right, so what are we pulling after we have like a whole 10-minute discussion about what we're doing?
Yeah, because you always talk about pulling 17 different things. I'm not. If I would have been taking notes, I would have had to cross shit off and like erase shit and like draw all these arrows to try and keep track of everything that you say.
I think we can all agree that the
You're-
best
you're
option
right.
is just to be Junkrat, and then you get a free keybind.
I'm just writing this down as 1, 2, 3, 4 for spammable buttons. How do we feel about spenders? Also 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's probably going to also go in there.
I think it's not optimal, but it's good enough.
I use RNT for spenders. a lot.
AoE
Also, like,
buttons
spender.
also
EEQ
part
are
of
also
this.
very good spender.
I have a lot of
I mean, I think all
spenders
those
on
fall
my-
under rotational spells.
Yeah,
I have a lot of
okay.
my mouse buttons under or all my spenders and mouse buttons, or something like half of them at least.
Well, you have instant
like,
cast spenders, right?
Yeah. Only instant cast spenders.
I think that we'll just put spammable buttons, spenders, and AoE buttons on 1, 2, 3, 4. Anything that's like omega spammable.
I think RNT should be in there.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 RNT.
We're just gonna leave out E and Q.
Wait, E was strafe. That's why. Because Q. Or wait, didn't we? Did we
No,
not?
no,
agree
he
on
wasn't.
that?
He wasn't strafe.
I thought E
That was
and Q
only, that's
was
only
only
for my
for
own
E.
buttons.
Okay.
I thought everyone else
so
was
Q and
AV.
E are open. All right.
Yeah, Q and E are open. Okay, so defensives and personals.
Well, me and Billy are mages, and I don't know. Ice barrier is like on such a low cooldown. I don't know about like all your other non-hero classes, but my ice barrier is on like mouse wheel down.
My barrier's on the mouse button too.
Oh, yo, that's some mage shit. You guys are thinking the same.
Mine's on like 5, like the 12 button mouse. Mine's the 5.
Do you guys
What's your
bind
ice block?
scroll in or out?
My ice block is Shift V, and then I have a cancel order for ice block at Shift C. So if I can't want to cancel it, 2 separate buttons, I can cancel it. Against
Wait, there's no shot. I use Shift V for Ice Block too.
My ice block is tilde.
Jesus. Okay.
That's my immunity button on every class is tilde because that's what I grew up with. So I'm not saying
My
it's
immunity
good,
button
but
is G.
That's my.
Does
health
anybody?
stun
Okay,
button.
so for defensive, not for like major immunity. Do we think that mouse buttons are the wave? I think that is maybe.
I don't think
maybe
so.
good. I know.
Not a fan.
Shift V. Wait, Shift V is your ice block, right? Shift V is my mirror image, so that's technically a defensive.
I think one modifier and not on a prime bind.
One modifier and not on a prime bind for your defensive.
Yeah.
I think that's
Okay.
a good point. Is
It makes
defenses
sense,
with a
yeah.
with modifiers is good.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about that because like if you have a modifier, that means that you're more prone to not fat fingering it.
Well, it
But
might
if
be
you don't
different.
have a modifier, it's gonna be slower.
It might feel different as a tank, maybe. I'm not sure.
Oh
on
yeah,
that,
it's
but,
different for tanks.
Like, I know a lot of the times if you're trying to like get into higher level content, you just want to max DPS. So like, you kind of don't want to like waste keybinds that are easy on stuff that you aren't going to be using very often, right? So I think adding a modifier for DPS and maybe healers is like fine. But I know from experience when tanking, it's way different. It feels way different because you use them way more often.
So something like Shift F, Shift R, Shift E, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can even go like
modifier.
bottom row, like Shift V.
Okay. right, so we'll chalk this down to one modifier, not on a prime bind. Anybody have any objections? JPC, what do you put your defensive on?
Okay. Well, the only one that is my feint is on 1, so I know people aren't gonna be a fan of that, but everything else is about right.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like
They're
close,
so far away from your
I respect
movements,
that.
but
Yeah, but he's also a
close
DX
E,
gamer.
Yeah, evasion's control E, Crimson Vials control S.
That sounds really hard to hit.
Hellstone is Shift H, and
It's-
Health Pot.
Shift 8.
Health Pot is H.
You guys aren't gonna like my
H?
health unbind if we get to that.
Dude, how
Wait,
big
what
are
is-
your hands? Shift
what was
H.
Shift H was your health stone? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Health
yeah.
pod?
Yeah, H is Health Pot.
Yeah, he probably hits it with his index. It's really easy. Because
Yeah,
the
I mean,
way,
that's normal.
yeah, like if you think about the way his hand is positioned on the keyboard compared to ours, it's like very different. Like his hand, like
Like,
his
I'm still
skills
having
are
a
all
hard
low.
time reaching H. Wow.
Yeah, I gotta-
H would be.
ring
I gotta
of-
swear to
Well,
work
I
to hit
H.
I grew up playing piano, so my hands kind of like fucked. Like it's like there's like web in between my fingers, and they stretch out kind of far. I used to have a Korean teacher, and she used to like kind of like rip my hand apart so that I could press more keys.
Okay,
That's good.
I had the same, but
Yeah, you
I
guys
don't know
never
about
had that?
webs.
Well, I mean, like like a duck's feet that's got like the little webbing kind of in there. Like
Well,
when you
every
stretch
hand
your
has
fingers apart,
some
it- all
webbing.
this-
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
All right, anyway. Movement abilities are up next. This is your sprint, dash, tumble, blink, whatever. I will start. I think that
S.
these probably are a mouse button. Did you say S?
Yeah, I
Mine's
use
on E.
My
I use
blink
E.
is on 1, and it's been on 1 since 2007.
Okay, so why don't
I mean,
we put,
aren't
what's
your
the downside
rotational
of putting these
abilities
on a
on your
mouse
mouse?
button?
Some of them are. What do you say, Tuttles?
What's the downside of putting
The
these on our mouse?
downside.
Not enough mouse buttons. One for left click, one for right
Mouse
click, one
buttons
for
are
push to
important.
talk.
Okay, we have an MMO
Wait,
mouse
what?
that has 3 additional binds.
All right, you have to aim with your mouse before you use your rotational. Before you use your movement skill.
That's true.
You can't
That's-
like
that-
aim. and
yeah,
push
that
the
is
button
true.
at the same hand.
That's a great point.
But wait, why can't you aim and push the button at the
You
same
don't want
time?
to throw. You don't want to throw your thumb off with the movement of the rest of your hand, or vice versa.
I get-
Does
mean,
your
I
mouse
guess that
work
makes sense.
differently than me?
Well, if you have to do the Boomkin wild charge thing, and you're like rotating your mouse around, and then you like press down on the mouse button with your thumb or whatever.
Okay.
Oh, I
you
guess
just,
if it's
like,
middle
mess up.
mouse. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I assume you guys are moving with click on left and right? Or are you guys moving with W?
I'm moving with W.
I mean, I can see how it works for both ways. I think it mostly just depends on where you decide to put your rotational buttons. Because wouldn't you want to separate? Do you you guys separate your movement from your rotational buttons, or are they like close together?
I mean, I move with WASD and my dash is on E.
I have a question for Growl, which is, as a healer, do you place emergency buttons on your mouse buttons? Like for me, I have like all of my like sack / bark skin. That's on one mouse button, and then my other one is like bop, and then lay on hands is the other one.
My lay on hands, I use T. That's like
Okay.
sort of an emergency button. For me, like my emergency stuff is like 4 or 5 T. That's so like my lay of the martyr is 4, lay is T. Bop I actually have on a keybind that I don't want to use because I don't want to. I feel like it's not a button that I want to quick access. So my bop I use like some modifier for it. And I don't know. See, you guys are also talking about movement, but none of my classes that I play, I actually have to aim my movement.
Yeah, like you have the feathers, Crusader, or whatever.
well,
that
Yeah, it's
charge
not the same
was.
as
Ghost
like.
Wolf, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Ghost
Yeah, it's not the
Wolf,
same as like rolling.
Overseer. Yeah.
Wild charge is all R for me.
Oh, I use R for wild charge too.
Alt R.
Yeah, I feel like I don't
can't accept that one.
I don't ever want a fat finger wild charge.
That's true. Actually, I have some bad experiences with that.
We
in there.
have some experiences with Growl and fat fingering wild charge and Shrine of the
So
Storm.
there was a time when I was trying to learn Moonkin Affinity, and I have my wild charge on R, and I couldn't find a keybind for Moonkin form, so I just made my Moonkin form Shift R. So my Moonkin form and my wild charge was R and Shift R, and very often it was Shift into Moonkin and wild charge on the same global.
Okay, so I'll give a preview. We have interrupt, primary CC, big utility, big class CD, oh shit button, covenant ability, covenant class ability, double potion, a couple of other things. Do we want to put? I think that the general consensus is movement ability on the keyboard.
It's like half-half.
Yeah, it seems half that.
I don't think there was a consensus. Wherever it is, it should be one of your prime buttons. It shouldn't
Yeah,
have
it should
like
be
modifiers.
It should be a prime button. We'll put this on the fucking mouse. The judge is making it.
No modifiers.
Yeah, no modifier. Yeah, no modifiers. All right, we'll put mouse button for movement. All right, interrupt. As the biggest interrupter I know. Chow, where is your interrupt and why should it be there?
Mine's on Q.
Okay.
I think any keybind near your movement keys is money. Like mine is F.
Well, as a DPS player, the only thing that you can do in a dungeon that helps is interrupt things, so that should be one of your main binds.
Yeah, it should be a very comfortable bind that you can get access to it instantly and forever.
And then
Yeah, I think
focus.
the biggest thing is it has to be fast.
And the focus is
something
on like
you
a
just, like, hit
shift,
right away.
like a modifier plus that bind.
Yeah, like you want it near where your fingers are always resting. So if you're a WASD player, if your interrupt is Q, E, F, or like ZXC, like those are usually really good because it's really quick access.
Mine is on V, and then I modify it with shift with control for focus kick.
Yeah, I don't think that modifying the same button is good for focus kicking because you can misclick and then mispress your keys and then pick or stop the wrong thing, like your focus or target.
You mean like accidentally hold down control?
So if you're trying to kick your focus and like you just don't hold down shift properly and you just kick your target, then you just die.
Wait,
So,
what? Imagine not holding down shift properly.
So you have them on two separate keybinds?
We have been arguing this. We have been arguing that point since we started doing this.
Personally, I have a modifier for focus kick because my focus kick is coming up, then it like triggers something in my brain to think about what I'm doing instead of just like blindly kicking like a melee monkey. So I move my hand to the modifier key beforehand.
The way that I think about it is like a lot of the times, especially for an average player, you're not going to be able you're just gonna have to kick stuff on the fly because no one you're just gonna have to kick things that isn't getting stopped because you don't know what the fuck is going on in your group, right?
Yeah, that's the no modifier interrupt.
Yeah, so like you want to be able to have it on a button where you don't have to think, where you're able to just click on a frame and click or press your button, or already be on a frame and just press it without thinking. Because
I think that's especially true for PvP. Like I use a control bind for my kick, and I think it's really bad. Like when I need to focus kick and someone's about to like fake me or something, I have to be able to like instantly hit the kick. But sometimes like I'm a little bit delayed because I'm pressing my modifier kick.
So that's two people in the camp of two separate buttons. So okay, so here's what I got. It's gonna be Q and Shift Q or Q and A. I feel it, or not a Q and A. What would it even be like Q and Z or something?
Something close.
Yeah.
Q and V.
Q and V.
I liked V.
Okay.
Because your hand should be resting. If your thumb should be on space, right? So V should always be like right.
Wait,
right there.
do you push V
At
with
least
your
that's how
thumb?
my hand. Yeah, generally because it's right there on space. Do you not? What do you like? Shift your entire index finger over?
Thumbs on anything except spacebar is wrong.
I would just click
yeah,
my
I mean, my
pointer.
thumb's on space, but it's
No,
like
you actually
you
push
move
the
it like a
button.
millimeter.
No. There's a reason the expression "I'm all thumbs" exists. It's because your thumbs are clumsy. They're made for only one button, and it is big as a spacebar.
Yeah, I agree. I think you have more precise and faster movement with your other four fingers.
All right, we'll go. We can do it.
Use alt
I think
So you're just
especially-
removing what your
especially your
fingers
index
entirely
finger.
from.
Well, especially your
In the
index finger.
equation?
I feel like if you are able to comfortably reach a key with your index finger, you should always use your index finger because
That's why I like my interrupt on F.
Actually, I do.
because
use
it's for
thumb
my
alt.
pointer finger, and I just
Very, very
Yeah, you guys definitely use on all, right? I'd be so surprised.
Yeah, I use my thumb to alt. That's. I mean, the reason why is just because you can't all of your other fingers can't move down to alt like your thumb can. That's,
Yeah, but then
it's just,
alt
the
is
ease of
like
access.
alt is like fifth row of keybinds or worse.
Yeah, but you press Alt with your thumb though, right?
Yeah.
I think everyone
Okay.
does if you use a WASD.
Well, it
I
sounded
don't
like
see
you guys
how
were
you
playing
can-
with 4 fingers.
Well, if your thumb is
So
always
thumb
gonna
is
hit
only for
keys on the
space at
bottom.
all.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think because the thing is if you're trying to hit C, X, and V, there's and you're just not thinking about it. You can also press space and then you're just jumping and I've seen this happen before where you're just moving and then you jump forward and you jump off a cliff. That's happened to a lot of people. So I think that that's like possibility. I just don't think like if your space is going to be on jump or something that moves your character, like you kind of don't really want to use your thumb to press a button right next to space or right above space. I mean, because it's, I don't know. I think
I
it's
see what
really
you're saying.
awkward.
But I also feel
Oh.
like my thumb isn't that clumsy.
I mean, you also play instruments, right? So you
That's
might have
true,
better
yeah.
dexterity than we do. So
God damn it. All right.
I mean, yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, that's what us animals do. All right, so we're gonna go with Q and V for interrupt and focus interrupt. Primary CC, JPC, where is kidney shot?
S.
Wait, what was on your control S?
That's Crimson Vial. That's that like
Okay.
20% little tick heal thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. So S is kidney and Shift S is focus kidney.
Yeah, I actually don't hate those. It's such regular movement abilities. I really don't hate those.
Yeah.
Mine
Okay.
is Shift E and Alt E for focus.
Is
that
this
like
another one
Hodge?
where we need a focus?
Yeah, that's Hodge or like Cap Totem.
I
Hodge
have
would be
definitely
focus, but
focus.
Cap Totem
Yeah,
wouldn't be
you
focus.
should for single target stops. You should have focus. It's very situational. I learned that in Underrot. I don't know about.
Wait,
you
I
guys,
actually
but-
don't have that. Focus
What
single
the
target
hell?
stop as an outlaw
How
rogue
did you
main.
play?
If
How'd you play a
played-
rogue?
If you
What?
played rogue,
God
if
damn.
you
Wait,
played
you
rogue
guys-
in Underrot and you didn't have a focus gouge
Wait, you
bind,
guys.
I just
Okay,
don't
this
know
is,
how
this
you
is why
play
you guys
the
were
game.
noob rogues. Okay, the good rogues had 3 targets. One was the main target, the blood swarmer. One was the focus kick, which was the flower, and one was the
Maggot.
maggot, which you could not focus because you had to focus your flower. You had to click it and then do something.
hmm
Okay, but what if it's like
That's why you don't have focus scout.
say Taldazar of shield guys? And
I have
a
a
kick
I have
guy?
one generic target focus bind. Like it targets whatever I have focus, then I just target focus.
So you would
and then,
swap to your focus and then swap back to the prio target?
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine-ish.
Do you
I
have
mean, it's
a
cool
keybind
idea.
for target last target? Or did you have to find it in the sea of nameplates?
No, I just click it.
Okay, so should it be on the like? Should there be a modifier for the focus one, or should it be
Yeah,
Generally
silver bind?
speaking, yeah.
If you have a focus one.
Yeah,
Do we use like 5? Use like 5 or G or C or something.
I think that's fine too.
I think C is okay. Like for me, usually ZXCV. Those are like my do stuff to mobs, like slow, stun, whatever.
All right, we'll go
No,
with
I have
Elsevier didn't actually
one-
have a he didn't have a focus like Hodge until like
That's
Exposed!
true, I
Exposed!
didn't.
I didn't know you
No,
were gonna do it.
I
Nerf.
didn't, you're right.
Others.
last one.
Oh, no, you're
Last
right.
one you made it.
Was it for MDI?
Made it during MDI.
He also was playing with
Yeah.
overlapping nameplates, but
Yep.
What?
overlapping
no.
names.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
Dude,
JPC was doing that too.
dude,
I remember.
We
No
found
way.
that. We found this during VOD review because we were watching Ellie's pod. We're like, dude, how do you even see anything? And he's like, I don't really know. And then, dude, it was.
I don't really know.
As the healer, play bad healers don't care about anything.
Dude,
Yep,
that's
it's time
That's
for him to
true.
kill explosives. He's like, I can't click any explosives. Like, well, let's see what's happening. And then it's like overlapping nameplates, so you can't see anything.
Okay, well, the problem was actually that I did have it as stacking before, and the problem was that when new like explosives would spawn, it would like change all of my nameplates, and they would all start moving, and I would have to like try to follow it and click it at the same time. It was a disaster. So then I switched to overlapping, which then made it so that at least the nameplates didn't move, so I could click them. And I don't know if you know this, but explosives have prio when clicking. So like even if a bunch of overlapping nameplates are stacked and you click on where you think the explosives is, it'll prio the explosive nameplate as targeting. So you'll target it even if like you're targeting 3 other nameplates at the same time. So it's actually pretty good for killing explosive. But in Ardenweald, when there was like 40 mobs, it did prove to be
I'm calling
a little
this
bit
bluff.
more
I'm
concerning.
calling this bluff.
What? You're
That
calling
was
what bluff?
That was completely made up.
No, it's true. Test
Which
it
part?
yourself.
The priority part?
The priority part, test it yourself. I guarantee it is
I-
100% true.
I disagree.
I
The
call
priority
Do
part.
it. Go
I
go
call.
test it.
Dude, I actually had a
Zero
hack-
bluff. Zero bluff.
I
It does
actually had a-
prioritize explosive.
Wait, but this makes sense. This is why healers are like, wow, someone took big damage there. I have no idea what happened, but I hope
There's
they don't do it
a-
again.
There's an explosive.
No,
hack
I can
actually-
still see all the casts.
There's an explosive hack I actually learned from Furrow. Do you remember that guy?
Mhm.
He made his on explosive weeks. He would change his nameplates to start at the feet of a mob.
Oh, I remember that
Like-
actually.
And if you start them at the feet of the mob when when the explosives spawn, and you know how Ellesmere was saying it goes like up to the top, they
Yeah.
actually don't do that. They stay at the bottom. Just they don't move, and you can hit explosives really easily. That's how you did it in BFA.
Wait, that's a hack.
It's kind of cool.
I just
You
changed
don't
my
remember that? You remember that?
I changed my nameplate overlap V to like a smaller number when there's explosives, so they're more overlapping, but not full
Yeah, I made my
overlapping.
nameplates really, really tiny for explosive. I started getting used to that from MDI.
Okay. Big utility is the next thing. It's the quote, "Hey, I have something useful," in quote button. Darkness AMZ are some of the ones that are listed here.
I don't have that button, Totals.
Where would you put Smoke Bomb in a previous expansion?
Oh, B. Smoke bomb goes on B.
B for bomb. B for
Yep,
bomb.
exactly.
I like that.
Why not S for smoke?
Well, because the S is the shot in kidney shot.
Yeah, it's a shot. Yeah.
Wait till your keys correspond to the second.
Well, like
word.
my H is my health pot and my shift H is the health stone.
And it's all starting to make sense.
Yep.
Okay.
It's
I
like Warcraft
understand.
3.
Okay, so are we going with B for bomb?
Well, I don't know what people press their other stuff.
Where's
on,
what's AMZ on Dorky?
I don't think it's very important to keep on. I have it on Alt W.
Alt W. Okay.
think
Devo's
with
on
stuff like-
shift 4.
With stuff like AMZ and like barrier and like stuff that needs to be placed, usually I'd use low priority keybinds because I have to take a second
Yeah,
to
it's
like
not very
aim my
important.
mouse, you know. So it's not like if it's something I need to press really quick to save somebody, like life grip, that's different. But if it's like barrier, then I know I'm gonna need to like aim it down anyway on the ground. So
You also usually pre-plan those.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well, AMZ's gonna be like on this AoE that's gonna happen in 5 seconds. So you can
Okay,
just,
so
like,
we're saying modifier
already
plus low
seasoned.
priority.
just anything that's low. Yeah, slow.
So similar to the defensive
You
button.
put on like 7. No, I think defensives you have to be.
Well,
like,
defensive
reactive,
needs to
but-
be more. Yeah.
Little more priority, yeah.
I think a B is good as a starting point for a button
B?
like that.
It's
It's like off to the side. It's not really that close, but it's still accessible.
All right, big class CD. Your big dam or big heals button, meta wings, that kind of thing.
Shift 1.
Shift 1.
Control Q.
Man,
Mine's Alt 1 randomly.
Okay, so modifier
Yeah,
plus
mine's
your
alt 3.
main, like 1, 2, 3 stuff. I would
Do you
assume,
agree?
right? Like we're all on board with that.
I use like shift 4, shift 5, something like that.
Okay. The modifier plus like some of your primary abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, not very
Yeah,
important,
okay.
basically.
I think it depends if it's on global or not. If it's not on global, then I try and give it a more priority bind. Like wings, I actually have wings on R because a lot of times like you press wings and then your next you wings and then you press something else immediately after, like you hammer or something. You need to be like faster with it.
Okay, so wait, Billy has his
what I
on
do is
Alt
I just
1?
time.
Yeah, Alt 1.
Yeah, because his rotationals are on mouse, right?
Only some of them.
Okay,
only
so
some
where's
of
your
them.
where's your combustion, Chow?
Mine's weird. It's on a mouse button. It's been like that since Wrath for me, but it's also relevant now just because it's cooldowns for the classes I played are all non-GCDs. So the way I thought about it was I wanted to have fluid like casting. So when I I use mouse button and then I go to my rotational abilities, which are all 1 through 4. So that way my fingers aren't getting taken up pressing a button on my keyboard. That was my thought process when I made it.
All right, so next I think we're gonna go with modifier plus rotational ability, like shift 1. Good starting point. Oh shit button, the button you hit when your group is in trouble.
When my group is in
shit
trouble, I push the unmute button to yell at Elsmere.
True.
Yeah, that's pretty good actually.
Okay,
Like that.
so are we till there? Are we caps lock? What are we for unmute?
I don't know. I play with push to talk. I don't play with push to talk. I just play with
Push to mute.
open
We
mic.
just play it with
Yeah.
perma. Okay.
It is impossible if you have to call shit.
I mean, my O ship. The problem is like there's so many different O ship buttons based on the situation. An O ship button could be any one of the previous things that you've listed, like Hodge or an interrupt or your major class CD or like
What about lay on hands for you? Isn't that like a no shit button?
lay on hands for me is my middle mouse button when I'm hovered over the player's frame.
wait, so it doesn't
So it
target
doesn't
yourself
cap-
if you don't have a target?
Yeah, so there's no self target, right?
Correct.
Basically.
Actually, I don't hate that. Where's your lay on hands, Growl?
T.
And your spirit link totem?
Ooh, this one's not very good. I use Control 3 for Spirit Link.
I use shift 3, so
Yeah,
I'm right there with you.
That one comes down. Well, so a lot of my cooldown-esque buttons are like Control 1, Control 2, Control 3. Since I started playing Pally, because there's so many cooldown stuff, I like got more specific with them. But on a lot of my other healers, it comes down to like yeah, like control 1, 2, 3, 4 are like a lot of my cooldown stuff. Like control 4 will be like the really uncommon stuff, like maybe like Tremor or something. And then 3 is like Spirit Link, and 2 is like Ascendance. But I don't think control plus number is that bad of a keybind, because like I don't know, at least the way that I play, like when I have my hand always resting on control, like control whatever is actually like pretty fast for me.
Same.
Control 2 to press Ascendance is pretty quick.
Okay, do we want to do
Control's my main
control
mod.
plus number? Onesie, you have any opposition to this?
No, that's pretty much.
It's like a
I mean-
medium. It's like higher. It's not as high priority as rotational stuff and interrupts, but like that. But it's not like it's still better than like your other stuff, like your cooldowns and your.
Just throw it on a prime with a modifier, and I think you're golden.
Yeah, it's basically the same as your cooldowns.
Interesting that we're putting the oh shit button on like a modifier plus a number, because like while it's supposed to be something that you hit fast, you're not hitting it often, right?
Yeah.
Well, see, the thing is, there's so many different quote unquote oh shit buttons that you kind of have to like think before you push it. You can't just like, oh shit, something's happening, push this button and pray. You have to like think about which button to press. So
yeah.
Also, different modifiers are like different for everyone. Like for example, like a shift modifier could be like really important for one person, and then like an alt modifier is like really important for another. The way
All right.
how people's brains work.
Covenant class ability.
Mine's on 5.
Mine is shift B.
Shift C.
Mine is F1.
F1. Okay, we're vetoing the use of F binds, please.
Oh no, that's my mount.
I use all my F binds.
Yeah, my F1 is the mount. I feel like it's a really good keybind.
Well, that's not
I
really
use my
combat
F1
abilities.
stuff for targeting.
Yeah.
What's your auto run, Onesie?
That still equals actually.
Numpad plus.
I think the one of the things that's important to keep in mind is like the class abilities from Covenants are drastically different in terms of cooldown. So like what a Kyrian R Shaman with Vesper Totem or like Paladin with Divine Toll might have keybound because it's like 40 seconds would be drastically different from a Venthyr who has a 4-minute CD. Because like my Venthyr, my Ashen Hollow is on shift 2 because I consider it to be, a major class cooldown that I wouldn't be pressing often because it's on a 4-minute cooldown. But like Vesper Totem is on 5 because I press it constantly as part of my core rotation.
Wait, where's Divine Toll?
So Divine Toll, well, it used to be on shift 2, but I haven't played it since it got reduced to a 40-second CD. So I might move it.
It doesn't
if I
have
were
a
to play
bind
it.
because he never plays Kyrian.
That's true. Yeah.
I actually
But,
have
like, my Disc
Covenant
Priest
ability
has-
on the same button. Every single character, same button for my Covenant and same button for
What
my
is it?
signature. Shift G. It's not a great bind, but it was like the expansion specific stuff for me is always weird because I already have all my binds set up, and then Shadowlands came out, and I'm just like, shoot, I need to figure out new binds for this stuff.
Wait,
And
where was
then-
your Heart of Azeroth ability?
Shift G.
Yeah, exactly.
That just took up your Heart of the Azeroth ability.
Yeah, exactly. But even that was like that. Well, even the Heart of Azeroth for me was like that was the 3rd patch or something when it came out. So that was when
Mine's on Control F for every character, just like Growls is on Shift G.
Is that your class one, or what's your non-specific class one?
Shift E, and the reason why is because it started off as Night Vey, so it was a movement ability, and my movement ability is E, so my other movement ability is Shift E.
I see.
That's why.
Okay, I understand.
Mine is Shift Z. So I think we can all agree that it should just be like a modifier plus one of your like non-core rotational buttons.
So like the
Well, I think that's only because of how we never had it before, and then we just have to make binds for it.
yeah. So
I
like
assume that's
the,
probably
It was
why you guys
basically
did
just
that,
a
right?
space, whatever space we had left,
Yeah.
or whatever
it
we
was
were
like-
able to move around.
I don't think it's
So, like,
optimal, but
the
it's just
ERF
what it happens to be.
CX range, we'll go with modifier plus. We'll go like Shift F or something. Okay, and so for the signature ability, where is that for you guys? Is this a mouse button?
Mine's
Yeah,
modifier and the same button that I use for my Covenant ability.
same. Just a different.
So like
modifier.
for me, it's 5, and then I click a button on my mouse for a modifier, and then 5 is my like soul shape.
What do you mean signature ability?
Like soul shape, summon steward, door shadows.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
I don't
what-
actually have Summon Steward bound because I don't. That thing doesn't need to be bound. I just have to file.
I want to know what Dorky's Summon Steward is.
Control Z.
Oh, okay.
undo.
Okay, so then do we need to change our Covenant ability to be not on a modifier since the signature ability we're trying to put
You
on
can
a
just do different modifier.
different modifier? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I have.
Yeah, so like control.
You can do
and
like Shift C, Control C. That's what mine is.
That one weird ability is the next one, and it says that button that's reserved for the extra miscellaneous ability or spell. The button that's best for anything extra.
It's like Tremor and shit, right?
Yeah, just like random. Dispel. Fucking Dispel on Chow.
That's
Z.
random. What do you mean random?
For DPS,
for
it is.
For a mage, it's a bit random. So my
Tremor
Okay,
is
okay,
T
I
for
guess.
totem.
All right.
Control plus something.
Wouldn't it be T for tremor, not T for totem? Otherwise, all your abilities
Nope.
would be bound to T.
Nope.
T is for trinket.
It's for trinket. Huh.
I just put mine on some modifier, but I don't really use much.
How we feel about G?
Well, if it's
I
a
feel
random
like-
button, it should be a modifier for sure.
I feel like G is
Okay.
actually easier to push with
Um,
Control than other buttons, like 1 and 2.
Yeah, it is true.
What button for rogue is your random button?
Shroud?
Shiv?
Shroud, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe
Shroud or
gouge?
something.
No,
Gouge
gouge is
isn't that
definitely
random.
not.
Gouge is not random.
No, not
Wait,
Gouge.
isn't
Yeah,
isn't
not gouge.
Shiv? Isn't
Oh, by the
Shiv-
way,
It's
by the
like
way,
Tails
G,
Face
by the way,
Monkey.
by the way, G for gouge. G for
Yeah,
gouge.
yeah, it's probably
for
Shroud or
gouge,
Shiv.
yeah.
But
It's one
Shroud
of
is
those two.
control R.
I would ask what Shiv is because
That's control C.
Yeah, see, that seems about
Yeah.
right.
And I have the same with like Dispel and Mage is control C and Shaman.
All right, we'll put like a modifier plus like. Actually, no. C was our primary. I feel about X. X is so fucking hard to press.
X is my
Control
plain
plus
stick
left
button.
side. How's that?
Okay, Control plus left side.
Because it's
Alright,
like
I'm down.
it's really awkward to push Control on left side, but Control and middle. Is,
Yeah, but you're only gonna press it like never. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. All right, it says potions 2. We're gonna bump this up to potions 3 because you should have your health pot, your DPS potion, and your health stone bound. I'm calling an audible here. We need 3.
I'm a Diablo 3 player, so mine are about the Q and G.
Mine's G and H. So DPS pot is alt
And Shift G.
1.
My
Mine
health
also-
stone, my health pot, and my intellect potion are all like on separate sides of my keybinds.
We have 2 mouse buttons left, and we only have 3 potions and a taunt.
Actually, let's be honest. We should just all be using the fucking wheel add-on to do pots.
The wheel is a banger for the DPS potion.
Growl does.
Ellie clicks his spots.
You wouldn't do that for health pots, though, right?
No.
No,
That would only be for
Potions.
DPS and utility pots. Is use the wheel or whatever.
for health pots and health stones. I use a shift modifier plus my 2 mouse buttons, the left and right mouse buttons.
Okay.
I go 7 for Agipot and Shift 7 for Phantom Fire and Control 7 for Imbispot.
You have them all bound?
Yeah.
You don't?
Oh, yeah.
I have mine. I have mine.
I have a
down, too.
wheel. No, I don't need to bind them all.
Yeah, the best way for sure is to use the wheel, but for those type of pots. But I still have them all bound because I'm lazy.
Okay.
I mean,
You
I
wanna
don't think
put like
you wanna,
a-
I don't think you want to be clicking a wheel for your main DPS pot. What if you're like
Your
ramping,
DPS pot is a 5-minute cooldown.
dude? What if you're like ramping,
yeah,
you
but-
spent there, and you're like, oh, it's time to push my potion, but I have like
Yeah.
0.2.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have,
It's
like,
on my
a
it's on
0.2
my
window to do
it's on my
skill.
mouse. It's on my mouse. It's really not a big deal.
Oh, God.
Well, I
Oh,
can keep
God.
mashing my shit because it's on my mouse, right? So I'm just like moving my mouse only.
Okay, I don't know about that.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's just damage potion. Okay, so the 2 health potion, like the health potion and the health stone, are our mouse then.
Personally, I think it should be no modifier, quick access.
No modifier,
mouse is
quick
fine.
access. The mouse is okay.
I
So
don't
we're
think
gonna put.
I wouldn't put health pots on a mouse if we only have 3 binds. Haven't we already used one?
Well,
Use
also
one.
there's so many health potions in this game now that I feel like there's not enough space on your mouse. Because like, what if you're playing a Kyrian rogue? You have Crimson Vial, Kyrian potion, health stone. I guess that's it, 4. But
Yeah,
that's 4
but
binds.
we've
You only
already
have 3 mouse
determined that it's V for vial. Or well, I think it was like Shift S or something, but it's V for
Yeah, it's
vial.
Control S.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Vial's more like a defensive rather than.
Yeah.
I don't
potion,
think you'd
potion.
want to put DPS pot on mouse button.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think about the
I
health
think you
potions.
want a more frequent ability there, probably.
Yeah, potions definitely shouldn't go on mouse buttons. I think we can agree on that.
The growl would say put it on F2, F1, F2, and F3.
Wait, put what?
All these potions. Use all of the function
Oh,
binds.
because I use the F keys?
Yeah.
I actually use Control A for a potion. Because I feel like maybe it's different, but as a heal, well, I still think Control A is a good bind, but as a healer, I think potions are a lot more strategic and less like, oh shit, potion. Like, usually it's like, oh shit, use a heal on myself.
Sometimes it should be oh shit though. It's like oh shit, I just got hit by a cast that went off or something.
Yeah, so the health potion, the health stone are definitely the strategic ones.
My health stone bind is bad.
What is it? I think everybody's health stone bind is bad.
5.
Holy.
Mine's
Yeah.
C.
Mine's B.
I think I had a bind for it in BFA when you could get health stones in Mythic Plus, but then as soon as they took that away and you needed a warlock, then I think I scrapped that keybind and used it for something else. Also, for a really long time when I was a noob, I used the double macro, where it was health potion and health stone in the same button.
Oh yeah.
The double macro is
Sweet.
banned. Banned defense.
That's like some raider shit.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I
Look,
have mine on
Look,
just...
raid leader. I used both of my pots. Overheal 20,000.
Okay, so it's like, so what do we think? Like shift modifier and like kind of close to press, like easy shift modifier and kind of close to press for health potion, health stone.
I think that's fair. Or a good button if you have it. Like, I think if you're allowing us only 3 mouse buttons, then it's hard to have a good button for that. But I think most of us use a button with a lot of a mice with a lot of buttons, and so you can end up having a better bind for your health potion.
I think that there's no good solution, honestly. All right, so
Chat
last.
still thinks the worst bind so far is Control F for Consecrate. I don't see why that. Why?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why is that so bad?
Yeah.
Because you need to push that button to do damage.
I mean, to be fair, it's not something you press often.
Isn't it like
Like,
once
you
every
only put it
6
up-
seconds?
I mean,
Something like
F.
that, but
You would
it's not-
consider
it's not
F
like
a very
spamming.
good bind, right? Like F is a very very good bind.
One of the best binds.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't think Control F is that much different than F.
Wait, I'm actually pretty sure that when I had my Paladin Wrath, that was actually my Consecrate bind too.
Yeah, and how long ago was Wrath?
12 years ago.
Okay, last thing, Taunt. Nerf, where is Taunt going?
6.
All right, 6. Dorky, do you have any rebuttal on Taunt on 6?
I think it's one of those buttons that you don't want to like fat finger, but at the same time, you want it like accessible. Like it can't be too close of a bind.
But what if you're an incarn, you would just want to spam Taunt?
Yeah, that's probably the only time.
All right, we'll put it on 6. All right, and with that, that is going to be all of our binds, and it is not up for debate. These are final. Nobody else can argue against us because we have a very objective way of measuring this, and you're all wrong if you disagree. And that's going to be it. Goodbye.
Very true.
Wait, I don't have a 6 bind.
Don't worry about it.
How do I taunt things?
Did I have
Okay.
a 7 bind?
With
We're done.
button.